So when I went into the market in 2022 to try to buy a house, I kind of came out looking for like a $2 million house. And if you're watching this right now from like a non-LA market, you would think like, wow, that would get you like a pretty nice, like, that doesn't get you in the door anywhere in LA. Like it will put you into something that I just didn't really want to be in. So the budget just kept going up, up and up. And I found that house and I ended up getting into like a bidding war with like, I know Stassi was like bidding on it and like a bunch of other like creators. It was just this really beautiful like canyons view. And I mean, dude, that's a $3.6 million house. And by the time my realtors were like, you got to come in with a strong offer. Like, we want to go in at 4.125. And I was like, dude, whatever, man. Like, let's do it. And so I get it. And it was, I realized pretty immediately, like, I was like, dude, I'm going to get rinsed on this, dude. I just bought at the height of the market. Things started to correct right after I bought it. And, some things happened that forced me out of the house in a time that, you know, I would have liked to have continued holding it and letting equity grow in it. And I was kind of forced to get out of the house quickly. And I got just rinsed on, you know, on the sale.
The agent fees, basically. And did you also,
the agent fees are only clarify that.
Yeah.
We should clarify.
Yeah.
You didn't, he's an ex-real estate agent, but you didn't clarify that this is not anything that you did that then got you kicked out of the house. Yeah, because people are going to assume that like something went wrong, like a neighborly dispute or
no financial thing. I mean, I'll put it like this: at some point I'll get a little bit more granular on it, but it became a little bit of like a security risk. If you don't know about what goes on in LA, like if you're going to be a creator or a celebrity or an athlete that lives in like a non-gated neighborhood, you probably need like some pretty heavy security at the house. And even though I'm somebody who has nothing to steal, I don't, you know, this is my watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want my rubber band? Like, you need to be cautious. And I wasn't as cautious as I could have been about how the home was purchased and how I shot around it and stuff like that. And it became a bit of an issue. And at some point, maybe I'll be able to tell those stories a little bit more clearly. But I was basically forced out because of the conditions of the city and just the culture out here and how things happen. And so,
yeah, for security, is there anything you would have done differently in the future?
You know, there's like a whole like play out of how you're supposed to like defend a home, and like there's like deterrence, there's, you know, monitoring, there's, you know, acute safety measures. And a lot of those I did to the best of my ability, but I just there's just only so much you can do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you in other states, you know, there's a little bit more response and a little bit more penalty, and LA is just really the Wild West. I don't know how much time you guys spend here, but you guys see what's going on at this current time. Yeah. And we've got an extremely weak government and an extremely weak police force as a result of that government. You know, they're kind of handcuffed, and it actually sucks to watch it. I'm talking about here in California, not as a whole. It actually sucks to see it because a lot of the cops can't really even do their job. They're handcuffed. I mean, we've had a number of over the years security issues, whether it be me, Logan, you know, even when I was dating Lana, like there was just always like problems here, and the reaction time is just insanely slow. I mean, you might have someone in your house with and you might wait like 30-40 minutes for a cop to get there. It's pretty
That's
pretty
one of
bad.
the things about California is that you can't use force on someone who breaks into your house unless your life is in immediate danger. And sometimes you don't know. If someone breaks through your front door and they're not armed, how do you know that? If it's at 3 o'clock in the morning and they seem deranged, how do you make those decisions of whether or not you defend yourself? And if you do, then there's so many risks that come with that as well.
So like as someone who obviously has had to like study that playbook like in and out and was very, very fluent in it in my last living arrangement, if someone uses some level of significant force to enter your home in the middle of the night, I think even in California, that they have produced enough for an assumption of bodily harm. So if someone, I don't know, smashes through your back door and has a mask on and you don't know what's in their hand, I believe, and some legal person will check this out for me, that you have justified capability to use force on them at that time, whether or not they have a weapon, because they've used force entry to get into your home. You have reasonable assumption of risk. Now, the difference in California is, man, if that dude does a quick turn and you get him in the back, you have a major problem. And so that's really where the issue in non-stand your ground states, right? Is like, dude, if somebody can even make an attempt at saying that they were trying to flee or retreat, is the legal term, you're in trouble, so.
Yeah, and the problem is virtually everybody doesn't know that small nuance when they have their home broken into and they're being flooded with those emotions. They can't make that call in that second, like, oh, they're turning around, or this or that. It's just like, this person's in my house, and they just stomped on my cat. Like, I gotta do something.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for me now, man, I'm a, upstairs, multiple layers of like key fob security protocol type of guy. I just don't want to. There's beautiful apartments all over the country.
You know what's funny is I always thought I live in a house right now with 4 other guys, and I always think if an intruder were to come in, would I be the first room that they enter? And in the house that I grew up in, I was in the bedroom that was closest to the front door, and it always freaked me out that like if there was something like going on, they'd probably go
the first line of defense.
Yeah.
I will say, generally speaking, the front door is not the most utilized option for break-ins.
Okay, cool.
That's not usually, they're more glass guys out there. But just from my past in general, whether you want to think it was this past house or from my days as a, dealer and over the history of my life, there's really no adrenaline dump like having that wake up call. I mean, it is, I would encourage every person that's watching this to have, whether you are a firearm owner or not, to have a real drill and a real protocol for those type of events. Because if you think you're going to be relying on your ability to make decisions and come and strategize at 2:30 in the morning with 30 milliseconds of time to come up with something, you're wrong. You should have a full-on fail-proof drill that you've run through a million times that includes, safe harboring for family members, that includes, your own firearms handling, and what that looks like. And whether you live in the safest state in the world or not, if you live in Dubai and you're watching this, like, just having good safety protocol for all these types of scenarios, I think, is important, whether it's nuclear attacks, zombies, or break-ins.
So what's your advice for homeowners who have a place that they don't want broken into? How would you prevent that from happening?
It just, once again, I think it just depends on where you are and to an extent the likeliness of that type of thing happening. I mean, and everybody has their own, comfort levels and has their own idea of how likely it is to happen. But I mean, all the way up to like, they make great shields for glass that you can put down at night. They make this gum is going to drive me crazy right now. They make armor tape. So like, dude, like, I've been through all of this. Like, I went all the way up to like 24-hour armed security at $50 an hour.
Wow.
Like, just imagine the cost of that type of activity. Run that through your annual income, calculate your
I'm already doing the math now.
Yeah, it's a lot. But they make armor tape. I think first and foremost, how are you keeping people out of your yard? Next is, how are you keeping people out of your actual quarters? And then after that, it turns into like, hey, be ready to go, and dude, those moments are, you'll remember them for the rest of your life. You'll remember, being at 90% on the trigger and just waiting for a target. There's, for anybody who's ever done a tour or anything like that, that's watching this, there's no adrenaline dump like that. I mean, it's a mind-blowing thing to deal with, and certainly for anybody watching it that's been through it, it's a trauma-inducing event.
How long does it take you to go back to sleep after an event like that? Like, just spend another night in your house.
Never. I mean, I would assume never, you know, I mean, I just don't think you ever really do, you know, I mean, I've been through so much of it in my life. I've been through so many, you know, of those adrenaline moments of like car accidents, police chases, stabbings, you know, ICUs, organ removals, felony arrests, you know, like
organ removal.
Yeah, I got my spleen removed in 1999, and it's just for me like it's all just too common. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, I have a best-selling book. It's one of the best reads you'll ever read if you're into really graphic recounts. And it just got optioned out for a movie, actually, for a full motion picture, which is insane. Because if I can be the first creator with a full motion picture with a, you know, $15-20 million budget, that's pretty awesome.
Congrats.
Thank you. We'll see what happens if it gets developed. But I mean, dude, those type of moments in life are they're harrowing. You know, they change your perception.